All right, with me now, Avery Friedman, a civil rights attorney and law professor, and criminal defense attorney Richard Herman as well. Good to see you both. So, Avery,
good to see you, Drejka.
Good to see you too. Why would Avery, Drejka's lawyers, have him drop the stand your ground claim?
Well, he didn't actually have a choice. The stand your ground claim is a defense. In other words, prosecutors have to determine whether or not a defendant is going to be immune from prosecution. The problem with stand your ground, you can talk to many law enforcement, it creates a problem because it hands over another defense. And the difficulty is that instead of neutralizing violence, stand your ground increases violent resolution. So it seemed pretty easy, although the Pinellas County Sheriff, Frederick, you're not going to believe this, took 3 weeks to figure out whether it was stand your ground in the first place. Finally, the state attorney came in and charged him. So stand your ground in this case, I thought, was a phony justification by the defendant, made no sense, and it shows the fallacy of stand your ground laws.
So Richard, how much of an impact, did this video make?
Fred, in all these types of cases where there are audio recordings or video recordings, that can be fatal and dispositive for the case. And the attorneys can use all their imagination in the world to try to spin it and gaslight what people are seeing. But in actuality, in this particular instance, the McGlockton was stepping back. He was moving away. That's the problem.
But wouldn't the defense attorneys have seen that too?
No, they did, Fred. And what they tried to say was, listen, you can't look at it in slow motion. Look at it in real time. Look at the circumstances. Look at the emotions. And they claim that McGlockton was the aggressor by pushing Drejka down. And they tried to spin it, Fred, but you can't spin it. You look at it. McGlockton he's retreating, and Drejka pulls the gun. And something more important, Fred, is that the judge allowed in prior bad acts evidence on the 404B. Rules of evidence. This Drejka had an incident 5 months earlier at the same spot where there was a black man in a car and he threatened to shoot him if he didn't move out of the spot. So that's going to come back, and that definitely affected the jury. It's going to affect his sentencing. He's going to get at least 25 years, maybe the max 30 years.
I agree.
And he killed someone. I mean, he just killed him, and there's nowhere to go with this, Fred. The video was dispositive. That's what did the case.
And so, Avery, even the use, I guess, of Drejka, even in that video, just saying, neutralize. I mean, it's kind of cold.
Well, it pulverized the defense, but it also shows that since 2005, half the states in this country are passing stand your ground laws. Instead of trying to neutralize violence, you have a law that now gives power to individuals. Everybody in Florida, like Drejka, becomes a Wyatt Earp. Instead of having an OK Corral gunfight, the duty to retreat, which has been the standard law, has been pulverized with laws like this. The fact that the sheriff couldn't even decide to charge him demonstrates how outrageous the stand your ground laws are. And all it did was prolong the agony of the family who've suffered because of what now shows a homicide beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah. So, Richard, case closed?
Case closed. There's nowhere to go. There's no appeals here. There are appeals, but they're not going to be effective. And, Fred, don't get so hung up with the stand your ground, okay? It's a self-defense case. And did Drejka act reasonably in taking his gun and shooting? Was he in imminent fear of great bodily harm or death? And the answer to that is no. No, McGlockton was retreating. So there's no self-defense here. There's no stand your ground defense. The man's convicted of manslaughter, and he's going to face substantial time in prison.
Well, Richard Herman, Avery Friedman, always good to see you, gentlemen. Thank you.
See you soon.
Fred.
Take care.